GRO, Guest Relations Officer.
Am I tripping or is that the answer?
Born again.
This is clearly the song with Lisa, Doja Cat, and Ray.
Hey, I'm Lex.
And I'm Chris, and we are from Toronto, Canada. Our main platform is YouTube, and we do reactions, games, and vlogs, all that kind of stuff.
My name is Madeline, or Madeline Mousy on TikTok and Instagram and wherever you want to find me. And my ethnicity is Ghanaian, but my nationality is British. I was born and raised here in England.
I'm Henry. You might know me as Hennes332 on TikTok and Instagram. I am from the UK, but I'm currently living in South Korea.
My name is Sasha. I'm a digital marketing specialist. I'm a content creator, and I'm also a freelance writer with Genius Korea. I am from the United States. You can find me on any social platform under my username, Sasha Mars. I just have to say before we get into it, I better get all of these right because I have so many close friends that are Filipino. I'm even repping my friends today. Shout out to Filipino-owned brands. Shout out to Perfect Poke. Shout out Sincerely Jane.
Okay, so Holdupper.
Holdupper. Okay.
Holdupper? There's no way Henry is gonna get this right.
Okay, I'm gonna just go crazy. This is someone who like keeps the vibes up in the group.
I'm gonna go on a limb. It's something that holds something, and it's up. Hold up. My first thought was cup holder, which I don't think would be the...
My head goes to like holding up. So like holding up the line, walking slow, like you're kind of in slow-mo. That's the kind of vibe I get. Like kind of like putting a stop to something in a way, but like not, I don't know how to explain it. Like holding up something.
Holding space. That's so vague. Initial reaction, this has to be something like an obstacle, something that just gets in the way of something.
Like they're the person who like always keeps the group morale going. They keep the energy up. They make it fun all the time. Sounds like someone I know.
For some reason, I think it's just like having the upper hand. Like that's just kind of what I thought.
That can make sense
too,
because it's
like,
slang, right?
Yeah, I don't know if that's right though.
Here's the thing. I'm trying to think of what it could be in English culture, I guess, but there's nothing similar. I don't really know what could be a hold upper. I'm gonna guess a fruit basket or a basket of some kind.
Anyway, I'm just gonna say someone who like keeps the energy up in the group.
Oh, this makes so much sense.
Damn, okay.
Oh, a robber or a mugger.
Duh. Oh, duh. The Filipino term for someone committing a holdup or a robbery. See, now that makes sense.
That actually doesn't make sense.
It does make sense. That's very interesting though. I
That
wouldn't have thought
is.
that.
I do not associate with this word. I actually reject this. This does not describe me very well.
That's
So you're
interesting.
holding us up by causing a ruckus.
What's the hold up here? And it's the person who's robbing the bank. Don't do crimes, kids. Stay in school.
I wasn't thinking crime. I should have done that first. Holdupper? Okay, now that I know what it means, that is such a silly way to call something a crime. It's like the Dr. Seuss of crimes.
Okay, so Brownout.
Brownout.
Brownout. Is this a competition? Because if so, Henry, I love you, but right now we're not friends.
Brownout. Girl, what? I'm gonna be so bad at this game. Oh my god. Thing is, I'm from the UK, right? We have stuff like Bob's your uncle. What does that even mean?
I can't even guess what brownout would mean.
For some reason, I think more like nature. So it
That makes
definitely
sense.
has to do with like
Brown dirt.
exactly dirt, stuff like that, dirt leaves. So I feel like it has to do with like natural causes, something like that.
Okay, I'm just gonna say this is when you like can't think of something to say. You're like, oh, I'm just having such bad brownout right now. You know, like you can't think of the words to say or something.
I feel like this might be something that I've heard people say. Like I think that people in Canada may say this. Immediately, like my mind goes to blackout.
So brownout, is it like when things go fuzzy? Or maybe because the blackout is like when things go completely dark, maybe a brownout is like, you know, when stuff is really dusty. Dust is brown. That could be a brownout.
But like brownout to me, for some reason, when I hear brown, it makes me think like electricity as well. Like I feel like that's weird, like burnt.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like
I was
power
thinking,
outage.
Like, power outage, yeah.
Wait, this is a... Hold on. Isn't this a power outage?
She knows. She knows.
Like, I feel like I've heard it before, not as common as like a blackout, if that's what it is, but if it's not what it is, I swear I've heard this before.
This is a power outage, right? I've been in one before. It's terrifying.
A brownout is basically a blackout.
A power outage or temporary loss of electricity in the Philippines. Okay, period.
Yeah, I have been in so many brownouts. All at work. Tell me why we continue to work on those days. Make it make sense, capitalism.
With us, you don't have the cards.
But wait, power outage inside my head? That's what I was saying, basically.
Yeah.
Interesting. I,
feel like
don't think
it
I've ever heard it, but honestly, it makes sense. I don't know what else it could mean, to be honest.
Yeah, because I mean, I just think like brown, blackout, like it's just different colors.
No matter black, white, or beige.
Oh, so it's just replacing black with brown?
I wonder why they use the word brown and not black.
It's a discrimination.
Someone comment why the word brown is used. Thanks.
Prenup.
A prenup. Why do I feel like I'm being tricked again?
Immediately, like a contract you make before you get married. That's what a prenup is.
Yes.
The way I know it is you want to get married to someone and then you have to sign like a document.
Well, surely this is like when you get married, but you like sign off. If you get divorced, you can't take their like earnings or something, right? That's what that means to me.
The prenup, I know. That's like a pre-marriage contract, right? Where you like divvy up assets.
You want like stuff in the impossible chance that you get a divorce. You are able to keep your own things like money and all of that stuff.
Because that seems really straightforward, so I feel like maybe there's something more to it. Like it meaning something to do with pre-marriage.
Can it have another meaning, maybe? Prenup? What about something like you make a plan before you do something? Let's go with that.
What? In the Philippines, prenup mostly refers to a fun, stylish pre-wedding photo shoot? How?
Oh, like a pre-wedding photo shoot. That's kind of cute. I like that.
Nope, that's completely wrong. So engagement photo shoot, but it's called a prenup. Aw, that's cute. A prenup, a lot of people are scared of the concept of it because the second half is my definition.
It could also mean a legal contract before marriage that is something usually done with couples who are more well off. Yes.
Okay.
That's what a prenup that we would know of more is the second one, especially for people who have like money.
The photo shoot sounds fun though.
That is so dope. Filipino people just know how to get down and have a good time.
I'm single. My prenup, I really want to do take it on film, doing really casual things, but we dressed up in fancy. Eating a burger in the car, sitting on the side of the road, drinking on the beach. Like that's my idea for what my prenup will be.
Get that prenup either way. Do it.
So commute.
Commute.
A commute. Am I being tricked?
A commute is a journey. It's a journey from one place to another. What other way could commute be used?
This is just to and from somewhere.
Girl, all I can think of is like getting a taxi to the club or something.
My mind
Commuting
immediately
to work.
goes to like commuting to work or something like communication.
Communication's good though.
Commute. I'm gonna do the way I know. I'm gonna be honest with myself. A commute is a journey from one place to another.
I don't know. Let's just go with that one. Getting a taxi to the club. I'm so bad at this stuff.
This is like a way of transportation, right?
But I
I've heard
think
of that.
commute, again, I feel like I've heard this
I feel like they're the same.
I feel like this is public transportation. That is where I'm going.
Canada, Philippines, I think it's the same.
I think either the people I know are using Filipino slang or something.
In the Philippines, to commute means to use public transportation. Okay, so
In the Philippines, a commute means to use public transport like buses, jeepneys, or trains.
Use public transport. Whatever.
High five.
High five. Yeah, I was thinking like bus,
Subway, train.
subway. Those are like the main three that we have here other than like Ubers and taxis. But like those
Yes.
three are the most common.
Mamsir?
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 Mamsir? Hopefully I'm saying that right because I feel like also how you pronounce it helps a lot with the context.
I feel like I'm reading too much into it. Is this like a greeting?
If it's mamsir, is it describing just a man and a woman? Or someone who is like androgynous?
It's like they, them. Mamsir is like, oh, how you doing today, Mamsir? When you want to refer to someone, but you don't know their gender. They're ambiguous.
Immediately I'm just seeing sir, which I'm just like, sir, like an honorific kind of thing. Ma'am could be ma'am, sir.
Maybe it's just like a generalization.
That would make sense if it was gender neutral because it's kind of like
Definitely.
combining both, I guess, maybe?
Ma'am, sir, ma'am and sir.
Is this like you're trying to say like ma'am and sir put together? Is that stupid?
I feel like maybe if it's just like multiple people you're referring to.
Maybe. That also could make sense. Kind of like
Like,
gender
word.
neutral.
I'm just gonna go for someone who looks like gender ambiguous. Like someone who's like androgynous, maybe.
It's definitely
I feel like
either
it's like a
that
polite thing,
or
maybe.
like it's totally different. That, like we would have
We've
never
said
got
this
it.
a couple times, but yeah.
Mary and Joseph.
So I'm built different, I guess. Okay, ma'am sir is a polite mix of ma'am and sir.
Commonly used when addressing someone, two or more people with different genders.
Okay.
That does make sense. So it's like when you're trying to refer to people, but there's a mix.
Commonly used when addressing someone, two or more people with different genders. So it's like a group of people.
Okay, period. Come on, gender fluid. Okay, I love that. That's actually kind of fun.
Oh my god. Wait, maybe I didn't get it completely right, but that's pretty close actually. I'm gonna take that point.
So you're just everyone. You're like, hello, Mamsirs. Am I using it correctly? I don't think that's the context I'm supposed to be using it.
Men and women in the crowd.
Ladies
See.
and gents.
Ma'ams and sirs.
Yep.
This is a really good way to do it because normally it's like ladies and gentlemen. What about the they thems? You don't know. But if you say Mamsir, technically everyone is included. I like that. That's the way to include people.
Okay, I'm learning as we keep going. I really do not need to overthink this. I really just need to just go with what I see.
Born again.
Born again.
Born Again. Well, this is clearly the song with Lisa, Doja Cat, and Ray. What else could it be used for?
When I think of this, I think of like restarting, like reset, changing something major, but something major.
Okay, born again. I've heard this a bunch in the United States. When you say you're born again, it's like you're realigning yourself with something.
You used to live one way, or you used to have a one way of thinking about life, and now you have a new way of thinking about life. It's as if you've been born again.
You know what else comes to my mind? This is sounding kind of mystical, magical, kind of like a glow up.
Ooh, that's a good guess.
Is this like when you're really sick and then you suddenly feel better? You're like, oh, I'm born again.
I think it's religious.
Oh, so it's like you're being born,
reborn,
okay.
you know, kind of like maybe
Under
you
your new
weren't-
religion? Under
yeah,
your religion?
or maybe you weren't religious and now you are.
I've heard a lot of times like born again Christian, like people that have found like religion or something later in their life.
You know, from a Christian perspective, born again means when you weren't a Christian and then you become a Christian. It's like, oh, I've been born again, and you get baptized and stuff. It's kind of like you're being born again.
Born again refers to a Christian, typically from the Protestant, Pentecostal, evangelical umbrella of Christianity.
Unlike in the Anglosphere, where it simply means a Christian who has had a spiritual rebirth.
Interesting. Yeah, sure, why not?
I don't think these are too different from how I understand it from where I'm from, but I do think that it's taken from that idea of the spiritual rebirth thing, which is seen more underneath the Protestant umbrella.
I'm shocked. Not to say that you wouldn't get it, but like that's just, I just did. Oh my god.
You actually hear this quite often in the United States too.
GRO.
GRO, Guest Relations Officer.
Guest relations officer. This sounds like a job.
Guest relations officer? Am I tripping or is that the answer?
Is this not just a guest relations officer then?
That kind of seems straightforward.
Public relations.
I would be like, oh, maybe it's customer service. Maybe it is customer service.
I mean, let me ask the audience.
Maybe it's like tourist, like, I don't know, like guest.
Tourism?
I don't know.
I'm like, maybe this is like a very dramatic slang or acronym when you're like showing someone around your like house.
Do you need a relations officer to go
Yeah,
around
yeah,
your
but I'm
house?
just saying.
I feel like it's when you have a function and it's the person you go to at any function. The bouncer at any event that you are running, the bouncer at your wedding.
Wouldn't this kind of be like the TSA? Like Filipino TSA? Guest relations officer?
I have no idea. This is the first
yeah.
one where I'm like genuinely stumped. We might flop this one, I fear.
I feel like we just have to see the answer now.
I'm just gonna go crazy. Is this someone who like has a lot of friends? Is this someone who has like loads of different groups of friends and they hang out with loads of different people all the time?
Oh! Hey, no, it's not.
In the Philippines, GRO is often used to refer to a prostitute
Or a sex worker.
A female entertainer at a bar.
That's so different to what I was thinking.
I mean, sure, why not? It's not completely wrong, is it? Maybe they have lots of friends.
Now that I know the real term, I'm kind of living. That's kind of insane. This gagged me. This took me out. You got me with this, and I cannot lie.
We would have never guessed that.
Well, that is not at all where my head went to.
That's kind of funny.
I wonder why. What is the relations?
Because I was thinking about guest relations, like the relationship between the guests.
I feel like that's a very interesting name for it.
That sounds very prestigious.
I like this term. I think it gives them an official, like, respectable title in comparison to how, not even just historically, but the way people refer to people or female entertainers in bars or online now.
You know what? We love to see it. We support sex workers' rights. Load.
Load!
Load.
Load? Oh, I don't know if I should be saying that on Elle's channel, but oh god.
Something heavy.
Workload.
Something heavy.
Load, you can load your car, you can drop a load. I don't say that, but that's like, you're going number 2. I'm gonna take a load.
All right, me too, girl. I love to eat too.
Load. You're thinking what I'm thinking, right?
Come right on me. I mean camaraderie.
Let's just go for like a big chunk of money. Yeah, let's just say like load is like when you're talking about like a big chunk of money.
Maybe if someone is like taking too long to reply.
The word's a load and we just made it loading.
Yeah, but sometimes when you cut it short.
The process of something loading.
I'm gonna take the load. I'm gonna take the responsibility of something.
Who the dare to call me when I'm so busy?
I think that's the context it's used. Don't worry, I'm gonna take the load.
Taking on something like heavy, kind of like more metaphorically maybe. Taking on a lot of like stress or something. Load.
There's a popular phrase in the United States, get a load of this guy. So like if somebody's a load, they're like, they're a lot or they're kind of doing too much. I'm gonna go with that one. I'm gonna go, because I say that all the time. So I'm gonna go with like, it's a person that's just too much.
Again, A for effort and E for achievement. Load.
Oh.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
That is what you do here.
Oh, it's a prepaid money that you add to your phone to make calls. I know what these are.
Okay, so I was wrong, and that's okay. We're learning.
Sure. Let's go with that. I think that one's better.
In the Philippines, load is used for phone recharge credits. Oh my god, Sasha, duh. Mayor of Duh City.
We call it top up.
Also, that's kind of interesting because top ups is for UK, but that's also what we call it.
Yeah, we call it a top up too. But like UK, Canada, we use kind of
Exactly.
the
That's
same.
why I think it's interesting.
I used to run to the corner shop, get the card for my mom. It was like a TalkTalk card, like the card or the T-Mobile card, and then you're like, add £5, and you're like 5 years old, and you don't really want to talk to the big guy who owns the corner store, so you're like, can you add £5? But load? That's not what I was guessing, but that's fine.
I topped up, loaded my phone today. Like literally my data recharged.
I travel internationally all the time. I do this, but I've never done this in the Philippines, so maybe that's why I've never heard it.
That's
Honestly, that makes so much sense. I can't believe we didn't.
If it was top up, I would have been like, I'm here, I see you. But load?
Prepaid money. Okay, that makes sense. Like you're loading something.
Well, it makes sense.
I'm like, I want to hear it in a sentence. I need to load my phone.
Yeah, I would assume I need to load my phone.
Honestly, like some of them make a lot of sense. It just kind of reminds me of living in Korea. Like some Konglish words are used for like completely different meanings. I think it's always interesting what people are doing with like the English language, especially if it's like someone's second language. Feel free to do whatever you want, you know. I'm actually like more than happy to learn all of these new meanings because like it just makes things more interesting, you know.
It is so interesting to see English words adding like different context to them.
They do surprise me. We definitely use some of these in Canada as well.
Yeah.
But also the ones that we didn't get, they're so straightforward, most of them, that I'm just like shocked that we didn't get them. Overall, it was very surprising, very interesting.
If I was walking down the street or if I was talking to somebody and they used these in a sentence, it would be like kind of like, whoa, well, I know what that word is, but I don't understand what you're saying it like in that sentence. Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
The context you're using it
Yeah, the context doesn't make sense,
Yeah.
even though it is an English word. Like that's so cool, and I really love that. I think that's so cool.
It makes me think like, what do we use that other people are like, what?
That word means that?
Yeah.
This was just 8 Filipino-English words. I'm curious what other ones there are because I'm sure there's more. I doubt it's just these.
Guest relations officer definitely surprised me. Load. Brownout is a blackout, but I really want to know why they use brown. I also think prenup is really surprising. It's just so different from how I interpret or understand prenup. Language is so diverse. I think my favorite is Holdupper. That is just such a cute way to call a criminal. You robbed a bank, you're a Holdupper. I love learning all about these words. It's so fascinating how people take such a common language and have different understandings or interpretations or meanings for different words.
Guest relations officer, GRO, is crazy. But I am surprised though, I didn't know that these were all connected through the Filipino and English language. And that's actually really cool. I hope I made my Filipino friends proud. I'm happy that I learned a thing or two today because there were definitely some words in here I had no idea about. Now I want to know more. I know that there's more. I love learning, but I also just love putting into perspective that something that we could just commonly use as like a phrase or a word in our own language that means something completely different has a whole other meaning and origin from an entirely different culture somewhere else in the world.